Tales of the Ranger Council, Episode 6, Before New and the Old. Okay, what do I do now? Where do I start? I'm writing this to remind myself of everything that's happened, what I've been through the past 2 years. Though, for my universe, it might as well be centuries. My name is Mark, and I'm the Red Cornish Ranger from Universe 20. This is my story of how I met Lord Zed and what happened afterwards. The last clear memory I have before all this began was talking to Artie. We were joking around.
Amelia's expecting, by the way. Hope Tarek doesn't pull a Void Knight on Ollie.
Talking about how one of the Dino Fury Rangers was pregnant, and how the Void Knight would be painting the nursery purple.
Apparently he's got the nursery all set up. Painted it purple.
It was just another normal day, or so I thought. And then it happened. 1 second I was laughing with Artie, the next I was somewhere else. Another place, another time, another dimension. It's all a blur now, like fragments of a dream that only comes in flashes. I remember someone needed help.
What the hell? I'm just guessing I was called here to fight Zed. Sure,
Someone
doing the word search.
crying out as Zed attacked. Or was it me he was after? Or someone else? I don't know. All I know for sure is that when it all came into focus, it was just me and him. The fight was brutal. Zed came at me with everything he had, and I gave it right back. But he was stronger, more ruthless than I expected. My shield was shattered. In the clash, I thought it was all over. Somehow, though, I managed to dimension jump at the last second, escaping by the skin of my teeth. When I landed, I found myself on an Earth that seemed stuck in the 1920s. The technology, the clothes, the cars, everything looked like it belonged in an old black and white movie. But here's the kicker. They had Rangers. A whole team of them. Convincing them to help me was no easy feat. Explaining the multiverse? Even harder. I barely understand it myself. And trying to explain to people who never even heard of it. Let's just say, I had my work cut out for me. I remember Dr. K, her words echoing in my mind. I remember her explaining once that time flows differently across dimensions. You can spend 5 minutes in one universe, but be gone from your home dimension for a whole year, or even return before you even left. It's enough to make your head spin. Suffice it to say, after that conversation, I needed a pint. Once I'd recovered from my time on the 1920s universe, I knew I couldn't stay. There was too many questions, too much at stake. My goal was clear. Find the Dimensional Task Force. In my time, it was led by the Ultra Rangers of Universe 20, the ultimate guardians of the multiverse. But everywhere I searched, all the bases I knew, all the places the task force should have been, gone. Like they never existed. It was unsettling. Every familiar landmark, every place that once buzzed with their activity, now stood silent. I began to wonder if I was losing my mind, if I was chasing shadows. Desperate for answers, I decided to jump to our sister universe, Universe 21. If anyone could understand, it would be them. That's where things got weirder. Universe 21 had a team of Rangers almost identical to my own. Same faces, same powers, but they didn't know me. Not even a hint of recognition. And worse, they had no knowledge of the Dimensional Task Force. How could this be? I was running out of options, so I turned to one of the few people across the multiverse that could help. Merlin. Every universe has its own Merlin, a guardian of magic. And all Merlins are connected, like nodes in an ancient web. If anyone could help me, it was him. The Merlin of Universe 21 listened carefully as I poured my story. He didn't seem surprised, which in itself was unsettling. After I finished, he stroked his beard and gave me an answer that turned my world upside down. "Mark," he said, his voice carrying a strange mix of wisdom and pity. "You are an anomaly. You do not belong in this timeline, nor to your own universe as it is now." I stared at him, the weight of his words sinking in. "What do you mean? I'm from Universe 20. That's my home." "You were from Universe 20. But the timeline of your universe has shattered. Something or someone changed it. The Dimensional Task Force you seek, it exists, but not in this version of Universe 20. You come from a timeline that no longer exists. Somehow you survived the transition when your timeline was overwritten. You are all that remains." His words hit me like a freight train. My universe, my timeline, it was all gone. Everything I knew, everyone I fought beside, had been rewritten, and I was the only one who remembered. "Why me?" I whispered, more to myself than to him. "Why am I the only one left?" Merlin gave me a sad smile. "That I cannot answer, but I suspect your survival is no coincidence. Someone or something wanted you to remember, to remain. Perhaps your role in the multiverse is not yet complete." With everything I learned, one thing was clear. Zed was still after me. The fragments of my shield had become a liability. Somehow they acted as a homing beacon, drawing him closer every time I jumped to a new dimension. Yet, strangely enough, I hadn't encountered him directly again, not for a while. It didn't take long to figure out why. In my travels, I began hearing whispers, rumours of a red Cornish ranger hopping between dimensions, seemingly on the hunt for someone dangerous, an evil ranger, a rogue, who had destroyed entire worlds. He was from Universe 20, my universe, or at least the version of it that now exists. It was me, or someone who looks like me, the Red Cornish Ranger of this rewritten timeline. What were the odds? Maybe I could find him. If anyone could lead me back home, it was an alternate version of myself. Using what scrap of intel I could piece together, I tracked his movements across the multiverse. It was frustrating, but fascinating. If this alternate version of me was half as resourceful as I was, finding him wouldn't be easy. Finally, I caught a break. A report came from a small, worn-torn dimension where a Red Cornish Ranger had been spotted. He helped the locals fend off an army of rogue androids, then disappeared. The description was unmistakable. It was him, and he hadn't gone far. With hope and a bit of luck, I can find him. Follow him back to Universe 20. Back home.